what has been going on in the crypto markets and the overall risk on markets this week. It has been very volatile since Bitcoin hit that 125K all time high level. Basically got rejected and dragged quite a bit of the altcoins down with it since it hit about just right underneath 117K here. We're going to take a deep dive into seeing what some of these altcoins could be doing as well as the overall crypto markets. We're going to be taking a look into Degen. We're going to be taking a look into Veracity, which is VRA, as well as PNUT later on in this video, usually after the 10-minute mark. I highly don't recommend that you guys skip through. I highly don't recommend because we still have to take a look into Bitcoin, which is still the driver of this market. Okay, if it dumps below some of these major support levels I'm about to talk about, it's going to be very bad for the altcoins. So you want to be rooting for Bitcoin here. Now, I also have some viewer questions about peanuts and longer term price targets. Now, I can't tell you anything beyond what I'm seeing in technical analysis here, and the price target I'm basically measuring on these technical analysis charts. So, just being completely honest with you, I don't have any long term targets for you beyond the TA charts I'm showing you here. Okay. So let's go ahead and dive into the charts here. Later on in this video, I'm going to be talking about some major crypto news or economic news as well that could affect the markets. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into the news first. This is crypto news by Crypto News. Spot Ethereum ETFs post $59 million outflows, breaking 8-day 3.7 billion buying streak. So we are seeing Ethereum pulling back. I bought some Ethereum, I told you guys, at about $4,600. Okay, on leverage, I am looking to take a short-term profit once it goes back up to a profitable zone. I do think that this market is still early in its bull cycle, right? But that's just my opinion, not financial advice. You got to do your own research. I am long on Bitcoin and quite a bit of the altcoins here, and I'm still looking for opportunities to buy some more altcoins. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I have bought some Ethereum on the dip, what I consider to be the dip. Currently sitting in a little bit of a losses right now, but I'm not too concerned because I still think we're still early in this bull cycle since Bitcoin has just broken through that 110K level. Okay. Of course, it has to be given that Bitcoin holds that level. Otherwise, we could be seeing more downside. Next piece here is going to be by Crypto Potato. Altcoins crash, led by Ethereum's 5% drop. Bitcoin slips to 5-day low. Weekend watch. I do think this is going to be a interesting weekend watch because Bitcoin is at some support levels that are major. It has just broken out of a reversal pattern though, so let's see if that target gets reached. That target is about 121K, and I'll show you guys on the charts. Next piece here is also by Crypto News. Solana price continues to soar. 6 mining users can earn passive income. I think that's the mining company. I haven't been paying too much attention to Solana. If you guys want to see Solana, make sure to if you guys want to see me review Solana charts or news, make sure to drop a like, comment, subscribe, letting me know. Okay, but I do think the altcoins are gonna be soaring because, like I said, I think the bull cycle has just begun. Next piece here is gonna be by You Today. XRP last chance to avoid fiasco. 300% Ethereum volume skyrockets. Bitcoin can lose 100K now. I think that's a pretty long shot for Bitcoin to lose 100K. that is assuming that this author here is talking about candle closes, like weekly, monthly candle closes below 100K. I think that's gonna be a pretty long shot. Very low chance of that happening, in my opinion. Right now, I'll tell you guys when I change my opinion, but based on what I'm seeing on the charts here, I think there's a very low chance of that happening because there's still quite a bit of moving averages that could be support for Bitcoin, including that 110K level. All right, next piece here is gonna be by Cointelegraph. How Bitcoin could hit 400K by year end, according to Udi Wertheimer. Okay, I am bullish on Bitcoin, but I think that's also a pretty long shot. 400K, just based on what I'm seeing on the monthly RSI for Bitcoin. I think there's room for Bitcoin to run, but I'm not really sure about that 400K level. So I'll tell you what makes sense to me and what doesn't. Okay. Let's go ahead and come back to the Bitcoin chart here. First of all, we're still on the daily 21 SMA, which is the blue line here at about 117K. That is still the major support I'm looking at, and I pointed out to you guys yesterday. Daily 50 SMA, not too far below the price action right now. Currently at about 100 and just right above 115K there, the white line. Now, the pattern that Bitcoin is in is very important because you want to see Bitcoin break out of this upward trend line. You don't want to see Bitcoin actually come back to retest something along this bottom trend line, okay? Because that could form a rising wedge, which is a bearish pattern that usually breaks down. Okay? Hey, stop. So, so yeah, you don't want to see it form a bearish pattern here, which is a rising wedge. It hasn't formed yet. I'm just estimating a possible scenario here if it does come down to the daily 50 SMA, or the estimated bottom trend line here. Okay, so that is basically what I'm seeing for Bitcoin. You want to see it break out of this upward trend line. Let's take a look into ES1 exclamation mark, which is the S&P 500. Okay, something very important to note here is that S&P 500 broke out of this cup and handle pattern here. That's probably more validated on a lower time frame, right? Something to be paying attention to for tomorrow, because this is Pacific Standard Time for me, and Sunday afternoons is when the stock market futures open. There is divergence, bullish divergence for the stock market. Very important right now because it's looking a little less certain for the crypto markets as well. So this is very highly correlated with crypto, of course. So something to be watching out for, but I am seeing a bullish reversal signal here. So could that help Bitcoin? Uh, Possibly, very possibly. All right, so but however, if that actually gets invalidated, that's going to be bad for Bitcoin, bad for crypto. Let's go ahead and go to altcoins now. We're going to be taking a look into let's see here, Degen first. What has been happening with Degen? We haven't taken a look at this coin for a couple of days. So let's see if anything has updated with Degen. This is the weekly time frame. It is still trying to hold above the weekly 21 SMA at about 0.36 cents, the blue line here. Okay, it's right on it right now. I talked about a falling wedge pattern for Degen. Broke out of it back in July 2nd, long time. But it feels longer since March 2024. And here for Degen, price target out of this falling wedge pattern is still valid. Okay, you should pay attention to falling wedge patterns. Easiest pattern to chart, in my opinion. Most common pattern you guys will probably see, and probably the most simple and effective pattern as well. Very beginner friendly. Okay, now this is going to be about a price target of about 0.55 cents price target out of this pattern, still valid. And price targets are estimates only. Okay, very much depends on what type of market we're in. What I mean by that is, are we in a bullish market? Are we in a sideways market? Are we in a bearish market? I think we're still in a bullish market. So it is possible for these price targets to get broken and get smashed. Okay. However, if Bitcoin dumps, these altcoin setups gonna be it's gonna be worthless. Okay, pretty much. All right, let's take a look into now. I did mention that there was a possible cup and handle scenario that could form on this daily time frame. Last time I talked about it. Since it's looking like, it's broken through that higher low trajectory on this daily time frame. I'm going to be talking about it on the 3-day time frame, where I'm still seeing a higher low trajectory, which could form a rounded bottom. Okay, which that means that this cup and handle possibility is still on. Okay, uh, the resistance for this cup and handle will be about 0.5 cents, right? If it comes back here to retest that level two more times on this 3-day time frame, then this cup and handle pattern is developed. Right now, it's not. And let's see if that develops. It looks like it could take a little bit more time. However, if this rounded bottom or this higher low trajectory on this 3-day time frame gets broken, then we could be looking at something else. Okay. And we're gonna come back here to rechart the rechart Degen if you guys want to continue seeing it. So let's see if it forms that cup and handle pattern, and let's see if it continues towards that 0.55 cents price target. All right, those are just some short-term scenarios for Degen. Let's go ahead and go to Verasity, see what's happening with VRA. All right, weekly time frame here. Weekly time frame for VRA here. I talked about a huge falling wedge pattern here. Falling wedges usually break to the upside. Of course, there is still a chance that it breaks down from within the pattern, from after a breakout, because I've seen breakouts that falls way short of the price target. You got to consider that as risk management, part of your risk management. At least I do personally. Okay, I don't know about you, but that is me personally. I consider that as part of some of the scenarios that could happen. Nothing in this market is 100%. Okay, now VRA falling wedge pattern price target. I think it's already broken out, but it's kind of slow. Okay, on this daily time frame, I talked about a possible breakout here. It's already broken out here on the very low key. Okay, very low profile breakout right now. Let's see if this breakout sustains itself, because I talked about a falling wedge pattern from within the bigger one. Okay, and that broke out to the upside. Uh, Based on this breakout point here, let's take a look what the price target is. Price target would be about 1.5 cents for Veracity, which is huge. That's a 10x. Okay, let's see if it reaches there. Quite a bit of resistance along the way. Okay, weekly 50 SMA. That's going to be a key resistance along the way at about 0.27 cents. Weekly 200 SMA, the orange line here is going to be about about 0.9 cents there. If we actually zoom into the daily time frame, quite a bit of resistance as well. The blue line, the daily 21 SMA, about 0.15 cents. Daily 200 SMA for all types of significance. Orange line, about 0.17 cents. So let's see if it gets through some of those moving averages before heading towards the price targets. But this could be huge. Okay. Um, so let's go ahead and go to peanuts. Peanut the squirrel. Okay, this is going to be interesting. All right. Now, like I said, I don't have any long-term targets for Peanut. I can't tell you anything more than what technical analysis is telling me. And what technical analysis is telling me is that there is a price target here, just a short-term price target of up to about 42 cents. Okay, out of this falling wedge pattern that broke out back in June 27th. This is the daily time frame. So let's see if it gets there. If it does, and if it consolidates at that level, we can come back here to chart the consolidation pattern and see if I can get any more clarity on if peanuts is more likely to continue going up, or will it be pulling back from there. Other than that, that's all I can tell you. Now, since it broke out back in June 28th, it has crossed over. It has broken through the daily 200 SMA, which is flattening out right now, which is pretty significant. If it's flattening out, that means it's going to be an easier support to hold. That's currently at the orange line, about 22 cents. It did form a falling wedge pattern as well that broke out a few days ago, back in August 5th. And this broke out, and the price target here would be a little bit short of 31 cents. So let's see if it reaches there, okay, for peanuts. So this is basically what I'm seeing for a lot of these smaller altcoins, for Bitcoin and the overall crypto markets in the very short term. Let me know if you guys want to continue seeing any more of these altcoins or any other coins in this market by dropping a like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.